Good morning, and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. What a game last night, but let's be realistic. Chelsea were only playing their second game of the pre-season, and let's get it from the Chelsea perspective and see how they reported it. The second match of our USA tour saw us face Celtic, a team who were playing their fifth game of pre-season, and entered the contest on the back of beating Premier League champions Manchester City in their last match. Chelsea created a number of chances in both halves, and goals from Matt O'Reilly, Kyogo, Furiashi, Lewis Palmer, and Mikey Johnson helped Brendan Rodgers' side to victory. And a late consolation from the penalty spot helped the Blues. It's quite funny, isn't it? Chelsea had a bright start. They went on to say, continued when they had a deflected cross was headed goalwards from 10 yards, but Kasper Schmeichel palmed the ball away. Kasper Schmeichel, what a keeper. And minutes later, and the former Leicester City goalkeeper made a good double save. Low cross was diverted goalwards, but Schmeichel saved again and also stopped with a follow-up with his feet. The relentless opening 10 minutes. So Celtic almost score an opener themselves. The Scottish champions released Kyogo, and his low shot at the near post was well saved by Robert Sanchez. The Chelsea goalkeeper then had to push away a long-range effort from Rio Hatate, and it was the end-to-end nature of the game continued when the Spaniard saved from James Forrest shot at the near post. The opening goal, Celtic, who start their league season next week, did take the lead in 19 minutes when a short corner from the right resulted in O'Reilly slotting the ball into the bottom corner from 12 yards. I think that's just added, and it's just made sure that Celtic will get the 25 million that they want for Matt O'Reilly, because if anybody's looking at him, they'd have been looking at that game last night. Anyway, that's enough about Chelsea. Let's listen to what Brendan Rodgers said on the game last night.
Absolutely, I think it's a great way to finish off the tour. I just said to the players afterwards that all the work that they've done, and I think how they've represented the club in their time here has been absolutely brilliant. So I take great pride in that, but also on the pitch. I think how we've played, how we really devoted our mindset into the work, the intensity of the games, and I also know that big teams, they don't want to lose games, whether it's pre-season or not. So I think in the performance we had what you'd want from a top team: structure. You've got talent in the team, and then you have work. And that mentality to work and run with talent and a structure gives you a great chance. And I look at Kyogo's goal. We made about 23, 24 passes, I think, in that. And so having that confidence and personality to wait for the moment. But across the board, really, really happy with the performance. And with the younger guys coming into the game, there was no difference. They pressed the game, they harassed the opponent, and then showed the quality when we had the ball.
They did show the quality when they had the ball. I did say in the live before the game, I said tonight gives us a lot of questions that will be answered, and it will give us a lot of questions. This was a top quality side. I know we played Manchester City, and it was a lot of the younger teams. You knew that Chelsea were going to put out a stronger squad, and not as many as their youth players for this game. They were wanting to have a good go, and they did have a good go right from the off. I mean, they could have scored, like they said, they could have scored in the first 15 seconds of the game. What it did do is it showed that Rio Hatate can step up to the mark when asked, as we know this anyway, and it's going to be a massive season for him. We know that Matt O'Reilly, we know what Matt O'Reilly can do, and he loves playing at this level. This was going to give us, although they are in the Conference League, they're not in the Champions League or Europa, they're in one of the lower leagues in Europe. But let's face it, they have aspirations to be Champions League quality. They spend the money of Champions League quality. Let's not deny this. Let's not put it what it is. But let's be realistic this morning also. Let's just sit back and be realistic. It was only their second game into pre-season. And without taking the shine away from Celtic whatsoever, there was a lot of questions that I asked before the game that got answered, which was fantastic. And I was over the moon on the live after the game last night. And I thought, yes, Celtic delivered. And if Celtic can now get the finger out and bring in some quality players, a quality left back, someone to come in for Liam Scales to give him a bit of push, and bring him on as a player. And I've also said as well, this Greg Taylor was immense last night, and I think that no matter who comes in, There was a player that was bought in for 3.75 million to push Greg Taylor out of the team, and Greg Taylor grabbed that by the jugular and went, hold on a second, hold on a second. I'm the guy that you need to try and get out the team. It's not the other way around. And I think that could only benefit Greg Taylor in the long run. Also, I think it could make him a better player. And he needs competition. Brendan Rodgers has said that. Brendan Rodgers has said, look, Greg's not got any competition in the team at all at the moment. So we do need that competition in. Whether bringing in a loan move player is the correct decision, well, with no obligation to buy or no option to buy, you tell me your thoughts in the comment section. But if it's going to make Greg Taylor a better player, then yes, obviously we need to bring someone in. And if it is going to be Hugo Bueno, then so be it. But the burning question, then the question that I put to people last night before the game even kicked off, is the big worry for me is if Kyogo gets injured early on against Kilmarnock, say, he gets injured, he goes over in his ankle and he's out for about 6 weeks. We have no backup when it comes to a striker. Okay, Mikey Johnson came on and scored last night, but Mikey Johnson isn't a striker. You can play Dyson through the middle, perhaps, but Dyson came off with a little niggle on his knee also. The update on Nico Kuhn is that he should be ready for the beginning of the league next week. And yes, the beginning of the league, Champions Day, Flag Day, the day that we remember that we've done the 3 in a row. Yes, we are talking about 3 in a row once again as Celtic fans, and it can only be good because we are now going for 4 in a row and our 55th title in a row. That's going to take care of itself, but we do need to strengthen the squad. Let's not paper over the cracks of what was. It was a fantastic result last night. It was a game that were 2 games into their pre-season. You could tell that the fitness levels were completely different between the Celtic players and the Chelsea players. You could tell that they were just back after pre-season. Chelsea players were almost blown out their arse the second half. You could see that. So let's not take away from the team what was a fantastic result against a potentially top class side. I mean, they are. Look, the way that they spend money compared to Celtic is just different level stuff. It is just different level stuff, and we can't take it away. I mean, they didn't rate. I mean, I looked at one of their articles from down south, and they didn't rate any of their players at all. I mean, a £58 million player, £58 million player got 5 out of 10. That's the different level of stuff that we're looking at. £58 million player getting 5 out of 10, So just sit back and enjoy the moment. But there's still a lot of work to be done at Celtic. There is still a lot of work to be done. And I think that Celtic, if we spend the right money on the right players in the right positions, we can become a better team. And we need to become a better team because, let's face it, if we go into the Champions League, you're not going to play teams like Chelsea that are only 2 weeks into the pre-season. You're going to play teams that are in complete full throw and right into their season. And it will be hard. We're not there just to make up the numbers. We're not there just to get the cash in the bank for our beloved board who want to sit with a big bag of cash and not spend it wisely. One thing that I did say last night, there is a nightmare scenario that could happen at Celtic. Brendan Rodgers has said that Kyogo is not for sale at any cost. He's not for sale. But you know what the Celtic board's like? Say on Wednesday this coming week, there's a 25 million bid comes in for Matt O'Reilly, and then there's a 20 million bid comes in for Kyogo. The Celtic board will snap their fingers off at that. And it is a scenario that, yes, you can play out, but you have to look at all possibilities. And when you're in charge of any business or any organisation or any football club, you have to look at worst case scenarios. And for me, that would be a worst case scenario if those 2 bids were to come in. Now, I don't think they will come in this week. I don't think that personally they will come in this week, so we're safe for the beginning of the season. But what if they did? And you're going to say, but that's all whataboutery. I mean, you're going to say then that fucking look, Rangers never died, but they did, and we all know that. But anyway, it was a fantastic day yesterday. It was a fantastic end to the tour. It was a fantastic end to the tour. Celtic did what they wanted to do in America. They went over and they spread the word of Celtic. When I look at the stats from the Celtic YouTube channel, they went through the roof when they've been in America, which can only be good for the club. And it's given back to the fans. It's given to the fans, and Brendan Rodgers said it. It says it's given back to the fans that get up in the middle of the night to watch Celtic, and it's something that the club should always be doing. Anyway, with the end of the tour sees the team fly back to the UK, fly back to Glasgow in the next 12 hours or so, and then it's back to business. They will have some time off this weekend on Sunday. Well, they're probably flying on Sunday, so they might get Monday off, but then it is back to training. It is back to a full week of training before Flag Day, Kilmarnock, and the start of a brand new season. And that's when it hits DEFCON 9, because we are going for 55 and we want to make sure that we win the treble. And on that note, have an absolutely fantastic Sunday, Celtic fans all around the world. Roll up to the party.